It was raining again. Cold, grey, endless rain. The kind that seems to soak into your bones and your heart at the same time. A man named Daniel sat by the window of his small apartment in New York City, staring blankly at the world outside. Life had not gone the way he planned. His business had failed, his friends had drifted away, and even his family no longer called as often. Every morning felt the same, heavy, meaningless, and cold. He whispered to himself, "Why me? Why does life keep hurting me?" He had stopped smiling, stopped believing, stopped living. One evening, unable to bear the silence, Daniel decided to take a walk in the park. The city lights glowed softly through the mist, and puddles reflected the faint golden lamps. As he sat on a bench, lost in thought, he noticed an old man nearby feeding pigeons. The man's clothes were simple, his hands wrinkled, but there was something unusual about him. He was smiling. Daniel watched for a moment, then finally asked, "Sir, may I ask you something?" The old man looked up kindly. "Of course," Daniel sighed. "How are you smiling like that? You're all alone in the rain, and yet you look at peace. How?" The old man chuckled softly. "Ah," he said, "because I stopped suffering a long time ago." Daniel frowned. "How? What's your secret?" The man looked at him and said one word, "Gratitude." The old man gestured for Daniel to sit beside him. "You know," he began, "when I was young, I was in a war. I lost my leg, my family, my home, everything." Daniel's eyes widened. "That's terrible." The man nodded. "Yes, but one day I met another soldier who had lost both legs, and yet he smiled every morning. He said, 'At least I'm alive to see the sunrise.'" He looked up at the grey sky. "That day I realized something profound. Suffering doesn't come from what we lose. It comes from what we forget to appreciate." The man continued, "When we focus on what's missing, life feels empty. But when we focus on what remains, life becomes a miracle." He handed Daniel a small piece of bread. "See this?" Most people would ignore it. But for a hungry bird, it's a feast. For someone starving, it's a blessing. Gratitude is seeing the gift, not the lack. Daniel stared at the bread. For a moment, the world seemed to slow down. The sound of the rain softened. He saw the old man's hands, steady, gentle, content. That night, Daniel returned home and sat quietly. He looked around his apartment. The cracked wall, the flickering light, the simple chair. It was all he had. And yet, for the first time, he felt thankful. He whispered to himself, "I may have lost much, but I still have breath. I still have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart to feel. Maybe that's enough." He began writing every night, one small list, things I'm grateful for today. At first it was hard, but soon the list grew longer. The smell of morning coffee, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of rain, the kindness of a stranger. Weeks passed. Daniel's smile returned. He started helping people at the local shelter, sharing his story with others who felt lost. The pain didn't vanish, but the suffering did. He learned that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, and gratitude was the bridge between the two. One morning, Daniel returned to the park, hoping to find the old man again, but he wasn't there. Only the pigeons remained, waiting patiently for their daily bread. Daniel smiled and took out a loaf from his bag. He began feeding them just as the old man had done. He looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you for the lesson." And as a soft beam of sunlight broke through the clouds, Daniel finally understood. Life doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. Moral of the story: you can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. When you choose gratitude over complaint, your pain transforms into strength, and your suffering turns into peace. Because the secret to happiness isn't having more. It's appreciating what you already have.